Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Shinvatam Swakata Krishna Punyashravana Kirtana Hrudayantosti Habadrani Vidunoti Suhitsritam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, The Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 29, Talks between Narada and King Prachina Barhi, text 36, 37, and 38. 36. अतात्मनोरुतभूतस्य यथा नार्ता परम्परा संसृष्टिस्तद्व्यवच्छेदो भक्त्या परमाय गुरौ वासुदेवे भगवती भक्तियोगा समाहितः सदृच्छेन वैराग्यं ज्ञानं च ज्ञानयिष्यति आत्मत्मनोहृतभूतस्य यतो नार्ता परम्परा संसृष्टिस्तद्व्यवच्छेदो भक्त्या परमाय गुरौ वासुदेवे भगवती भक्तियोगा समाहितः सदृच्छेनेन वैराग्यं ज्ञानं च ज्ञानयिष्यति. Synonyms. Atha, therefore, Atmana of the living entity, Artha, Bhutasya, having his real interest, Yatha, from which, Anartha, of all unwanted things, Parampara, a series one after another, Samsriti, material existence, Tat, of that, Vevachedha, stopping, Bhaktya, by devotional service, Paramaya, unalloyed, Guru unto the Supreme Lord of his representative Vasudeva Bhagavati, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhakti Yoga, devotional service, Samahitaha, applied, Sadrichena, completely, Vairagyam, detachment, Jnanam, full knowledge, Cha, and Jana Ishyati will cause to become manifest. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The real interest of living entity is to get out of the nescience that causes him to endure repeated birth and death. The only remedy is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead through its representative. Unless one renders devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, one cannot possibly become completely detached from this material world, nor can he possibly manifest real knowledge. Purport. This is the way to become detached from the artificial mental condition. The only remedy is to take to Krishna consciousness and constantly engage in the devotional service of Lord Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone is trying to be happy, and the process adopted to achieve that happiness is called self interest. Unfortunately, the conditioned soul hovering within this material world does not know that his ultimate goal of self interest is Vasudeva. Samsriti or material existence begins with the illusioned bodily conception of life, and on the basis of this conception, there ensues a series of unwanted things, anarthas. These unwanted things are actually mental desires for various types of sense gratification. In this way, one accepts different types of bodies within this material world. One first has to control the mind so that the desires of the mind can be purified. This process is described in the Narada Pancharatra as Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam Tat Paratvena Nirmalam. Unless one purifies his mind, there is no question of getting free from the mental condition, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 176. Anartho Pashamam Sakshat Bhakti Yogam Adoksaje Lokasya Janato Vidamsch Chakre Satvata Samhitam. The material measures of the living entity, which are superfluous to him, can be directly mitigated by the linking process of devotional service. But the mass of people do not know this, and therefore the learned Vyasadeva compiled this Vedic literature, which is in the relation to the supreme truth. Anarthas, unwanted things, come down from one bodily life to another. To get out of this entanglement, one has to take to the devotional service of Lord Vasudeva, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The word Guru is significant in this connection. The word Guru may be translated as heavy or the supreme. In other words, the Guru is the spiritual master. Srila Rishabhadeva advised his sons, Gurur na savyat na mokshayet ya samupetam mrityum. One should not take up the post of spiritual masters unless he is able to lead his disciple from the cycle of birth and death. Bhagavatam 5.5.18. Material existence is actually a chain of action and reaction brought about by different types of fruitive activities. This is the cause of birth and death. One can stop this process only by engaging oneself in the service of Vasudeva. Bhakti refers to those activities performed in the service of Lord Vasudeva. Because Lord Vasudeva is the supreme, one should engage oneself in his service, not in the service of the demigods. Devotional service begins from the neophyte stage, the stage of observing the rules and regulations, and extends to the point of spontaneous loving service to the Lord. The purpose of all stages is to satisfy Lord Vasudeva. When one is perfectly advanced in the devotional service of Vasudeva, one becomes completely detached from the service of the body, that is, his designated position in material existence. After becoming so detached, one becomes actually perfect in knowledge and engages perfectly in the service of Lord Vasudeva. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jivera Swarupahaya Krishnera Nitya Dasa. Every living entity is by constitutional position an eternal servant of Krishna. As soon as one engages in the service of Lord Vasudeva, he attains his normal constitutional position. This position is called the liberated stage. Muktir, Muktir Hitvanyata Rupam Swarupena Vyavastiti. In the liberated stage, one is situated in his original Krishna conscious position. He gives up all engagements in the service of matter, engagements concocted under the names of social service, national service, community service, dog service, automobile service, and so many other services conducted under the illusion of I and mine, as explained in the second chapter of the first canto. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Yad Ahitukam. By rendering devotional service unto the personality of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. Bhagavatam 1-7. Thus, one must engage in the service of Vasudeva without material desire, mental speculation, or free to activity. So, text 38. सोचिरद एव राजर्षे स्यद अच्युता कथाश्रया शृण्वता श्रद्धया नस्या नित्यदा स्यद adhi yatha. Synonyms: Sa, Tad, Achirat, very soon, Eva, certainly, Rajarshi, O best of kings, Syat becomes Achyuta of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Katha, narrations, Ashraya, depending on Shunvata of one who is hearing, Shraddha Dhanasya, faithful, Nityada, always, Syat becomes Adhyatha by cultivation. Translation and proper by his divine guest Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: O best of kings, one who is faithful, who is always hearing the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is always engaged in the culture of Krishna consciousness and in hearing of the Lord's activities, very soon becomes eligible to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. Purport: constant engagement in the transcendental loving service of Vasudeva means constantly hearing the glories of the Lord. The principles of Bhakti Yoga, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam are the only means by which perfection can be attained. Simply by hearing of the glories of the Lord, one is elevated to the transcendental position. That's the end of purport. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते रोमपदस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I humbly bow down and seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas to glorify the Lord so that I can speak worthwhile. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to purify myself, and please forgive me for any shortcomings or misinterpretations. So basically, I'm summarizing the verses from the purports. So we are continuing about the discussion between the Narada and King Prachinabarhi. So in one context, these verses represents about the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam, because everything is in a compact way and given in a complete package in this purport by Prabhupada. So the reason for material world is due to is nothing but due to material desires, and the way to purify this is only through the devotional service. That is what it is emphasizing in these verses. So Prabhupada goes on, explains it very nicely in this purpose, and ultimately our goal is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. But we are not able to do that. Why? Because we have a lot of anarthas. Anarthas are nothing but the unwanted things in our mind, and we will do unwanted things just for only for our sense gratification, but that is not pleasing anybody. These unwanted things are basically based on the mental desires and the mental platform only, and and ultimately it is for our own self sense gratification, and it is not pleasing the Lord. So, in this way, these anarthas are carry forwarding in our body, mind, and senses since previous lives, birth after birth. Since we are here, we are hovering, we are routing here, we are taking this different type of births, and that's the reason these are keep on continuing. So we are getting that taste in the material platform, but that is not the ultimate taste at all. To have this sense gratification. So, how to resolve this one? One must control the mind so that the desires of the mind can be purified or it may be controlled. So, how we can do that? This is only again possible by doing the uh, devotional service. Then only our senses, the whole body will be engaged in the devotional service. In that way, it will pleases the Lord. So, even in the purport, it says that. This process, the whole devotional service advantage, I mean, like it is explained in the Narad Pancharatri clearly, and the words Prabhupada is quoting here, it is quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita and Srimad Bhagavatam, rest of the chapters. That is Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam Tat Pravartena Nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktir Uchyate. So the bhakti or the devotional service means engaging all our service in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all the senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects happens automatically. One is free from all the material designations, and the second one is our senses are purified simply by being employed in the service of the Lord. But unfortunately, we have forgotten these things, basically unalloyed devotional service, and claiming all these material advancements can resolve the material problems, but it is not. In another way, it is causing more issues, more problems in the society nowadays. So we are trying the material problem with the another material activity that ultimately that is not causing any problem, and in another way it is causing more problem, but we are unable to understand that. So best example, I was while I preparing this notes, I mean like this class, I was thinking myself that so roughly around 6 years ago, we have a peak COVID, and at that time, companies, the manufacturing tech companies, etc., they claimed that oh, we need people. People need to come out. When they come out, they can come to office. They can come to a manufacturing facility. They can work so that we can have the revenue because it's almost 6 months or even more than that. The revenue is chaotic at that time at that situation. At that time, the top leadership claimed that we need the people because to need work, and like within of a decade now we can see that lot of capital investments are going on with AI. The and AI is removing some jobs, and the senior leaderships are claiming that okay, with the help of this AI, the lot of productivity is there, lot of advantages are there. Okay, In that way they are saying, but another way the people are out of jobs. So you, in one context you are saying that the problem is resolved because by using we are getting the more productivity, but another thing you don't have the job. So ultimately it created more problem, but does not resolve any problem at all. Similarly, even if you see the manufacturing, all the facilities goes for automation. The people who are working over there, they will out of job. After coming out of, I mean, once they are out of job, what they will do? They will do all the chaotic situations. They will go in the bad way. They will do all the unwanted activities. In that way, it is causing more and more problem. So, what is the main solution then? So we need to focus mainly on the root cause of the problem. That is repeated birth and death in the material existence. The birth, death, old age, and disease that will be there as long as we live in the material world. And this can be achieved by an unalloyed devotional service. Another thing, even if you see the rishis or the sages, they used to live in the forest and they don't have anything, still they are happy because they are free from anarthas. So similarly, one has to free from these anarthas. So how we can start the process? So this process can be started like by taking a shelter under the bona fide guru and render the service unto him. So because he's already in the free state, he's free of anarthas, so that we can become free. Because when we follow that path, when we take that path, and when we follow the rules and regulations under his direction, in that way we can improve slowly. That's the importance of the devotional service. So that's what stated in the text 36 and 37. When coming to the 38, it is giving how to start the process and what are the different processes in general. I mean, like in the Bhakti Yoga. So, as we know, those are the very basic things. Everyone will start from the neophyte stage, with the help of causeless mercy of the devotional spiritual masters, or the spiritual master and the devotees, association of the devotees. Slowly we will improve. So there are, we all know the process and we all know the principles, like Stravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. So these are the 9 process of the Bhakti Yoga or devotional services. Start with Stravanam, hearing of the glorification of the Lord, and Kirtanam, chanting. By chanting, we are hearing and we are also chanting. Slowly, always remembering the Lord, doing the service to the Lord, doing deity worship, offering boga and everything to the Lord, and having the relationship to the Lord. In this way, we will become slowly transcendental in the position. In that way, we can overcome this problem of this birth and death and hovering in the material world, and slowly we can reach our spiritual abode. In that way, we can resolve this problem. Otherwise, no matter, as we entangle into the material things, the more and more chaotic situations will arise, and that will cause to ourselves. So in that way, we need to improve our devotional service. This is the basic. That's the importance of the devotional service Bhakti Yoga. So I will stop here. Thank you again for the opportunity, for my giving this opportunity for my purification.